Edo PDP Caretaker Committee Chairman Dr. Anthony Azigbeme don cry out say Governor Monday Okpebholo's administration dey show big disrespect for constitutional democracy and rule of law as dem tok say the suspension of the 18 local government chairmen and their vice chairmen on December 17, 2024 no follow law at all. Say the suspension based on wetin dem call misconduct, but court don already rule say e no get ground. Say Justice Daniel Okunbowa and Supreme Court judgment don tok say such suspension dey illegal and unconstitutional. Dem come also yarn say Governor Okpebholo and im pipo dey ignore court orders, including one wey Justice Efe Ekpomogba give wey stop government from touching council matters until court settle di case. Dem come also accuse the government of using thugs and illegal agents to stop the council chairmen from entering their offices and to force councillors to support the illegal actions. Dem come tok say the chief of staff to the governor na im dey lead dis intimidation and manipulation matters.
We are compelled to call this press conference today to update the general public and all other stakeholders on the ongoing extermination of constitutional democracy, lawlessness, and blatant disregard for the rule of law by the Edo State government under the leadership of Governor-elect Monday Okpebholo. As you are aware, recent events have brought to light the unlawful suspension of duly elected chairmen and vice chairmen of the 18 local government councils in Edo State, purportedly by the Edo State House of Assembly following the directive of the Governor-elect Monday Okpebholo. The illegal suspension, carried out on December 17, 2024, was executed under the false pretense of gross misconduct and insubordination, without fair hearing, and under the misplaced and mistaken belief that the chairman and the vice chairman are subordinate to the governor. No premises directive on section 10(1) of the local government law of Edo State, which has since been voided by the judgment of the Chief Judge of Edo State, Honorable Justice Daniel Okunbowa. It should be noted, just for the sake of emphasis, that there was nothing against the vice chairman, and the House of Assembly still proceeded to suspend them, and this they claimed to do under section 20 of the same law, the Edo State Local Government Law of 2000, which did not give the Assembly any power to suspend any local government official. We are alarmed that despite the clear and binding judgment from the Chief Judge of Edo State, Justice Daniel Okunbowa, who upheld that the Edo State government and the Edo State House of Assembly have no legal right to suspend or dissolve elected local government councils. The state government and their agents proceeded to enforce their individual interests and illegally, and in breach of court injunctions, purportedly suspended the council chairmen and their vice. This they did without regard to the constitutional, legal, social, security, political, and economic implications and consequences. The state chief judge, abiding by the principles of stare decisis, has cited, that is a Latin for if a court has given judgment on any matter before. If you are hearing that case, that same case, you don't give a contrary judgment. You must base your judgment based on what the other court has done. Has cited the recent judgment delivered by the Supreme Court on July 11, 2024, in a suit filed by the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, who incidentally is an APC chieftain, affirming that the dissolution or suspension of elected local government council members by any state government, House of Assembly, or its agents is unconstitutional, illegal, and null and void. The state government, under Governor-elect Monday Okpebholo, has disregarded the advice of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, given through the Attorney General of the Federation on this matter. You will recall that the Attorney General of the Federation was emphatic and insisted in his press interview, which I'm sure most of you watched, that elected local government council chairmen and their vice cannot be dissolved, removed, or suspended without following due process, which is there is a law that governs the local government, and there's a procedure, there's a process if you want to get the local government council chairman and their vice out of office. You have to go through section 19 of the 2000 Edo State local government law. However, Okpebholo and his handlers jettisoned the advisory, deploying thugs and non-state actors have been moving from council to council with whips and dangerous weapons to illegally enforce the illegal suspension of local government chairmen, despite the overwhelming legal position on this issue and in utter breach of express court orders. Most troubling was that the council chairman had approached the court for redress on the matter. And Justice F.A. Kwamba of the Edo State High Court 2, Benin City, issued a mandatory injunction restraining the state government, the governor, and other parties from meddling in local government affairs and operations until the substantive case has been heard and settled. Sadly, in total disregard of the obedience to the prevailing laws and orders of course, the state government has continued in its acts of lawlessness, contemptuous disregard of judicial orders, abuse of processes, and misuse of executive power, which dangerously portends the extermination of constitutional democracy in the state. We are aware that the governor seeks to enforce and has indeed commenced his devious and illegal agenda with the help of vile and violent thugs and other non-state actors in Edo State. In addition to the foregoing, sadly, a reflection of a lawless and unfocused government, there have been several reports of intimidation, bribery, harassment, manipulation, and blackmail by the state government to coerce council leaders into endorsing the illegal actions that will allow them the looting of council funds. As we speak, 2 councillors from Orion local government, councillors for Ward 1 and Ward 12, are in the custody of the Chief of Staff and the Chairman of the Edo State Local Government Commission in the office since yesterday. The 2 councillors in Akoko Edo Local Government since yesterday have been inaccessible to all of us because they are with the Chief of Staff and the Chairman of the Edo State Local Government Commission, Damian Lawani. This cannot portend well for democracy in Edo State if citizens are being kidnapped and forcibly kept in the custody of government officials.
Dr. Anthony Azegbemedom also accused the government of trying to change signatories and withdraw money from local government accounts illegally, plus ask for council documents wey not consign them. Decom described all these actions as coup against the third level of government for Edo State and say it dey threaten democracy for Naija. Dem also yarn say the administration no get better governance and they mislead people and come accuse Damian Lawani, Chairmo of the Local Government Service Commission, of organizing illegal meetings to force councillors to impeach the chairman. The committee say elected officers suppose dey loyal to the people wey elect them and not to the governor.
We have uncovered a plot supervised by the chairman of the Local Government Service Commission, Damian Lawani, to harass the leaders of the Legislative Council, coerce them to bring loyal councillors to them in Benin so that they can sign off and illegally impeach the council chairman. The Chief of Staff to the Governor, Honorable Gane Audu, is involved in this unlawful act. He has been calling and threatening, harassing councillors across the state, trying to force them to cut ties with the substantive elected council chairman with the warning that their loyalty should be to the governor and nobody else. Clearly, these state actors have scant knowledge of the principles of democracy under our laws. Is that surprising? It is not. It doesn't come to us as a surprise, considering the intellectual and knowledge deficit in this government. For the sake of emphasis, the loyalty of elected officials are to the citizens that elected them and not to the governor of the state. The councillors were elected by people from their wards. The loyalty of the councillors is to those people that voted for them. Furthermore, Gov Okpebholo has directed that under no circumstances must any elected council chairman be granted access to his office in the council, ordering the council heads of administration to work in conjunction with all relevant security agencies that their party talks to achieve this devious plan. The plan, we are aware, is to lure, or worse still, force the councillors to impeach the substantive chairman without recourse to lay down processes enshrined in our laws. Okpebholo's higher talks have continued to deny the elected council chairmen and their vice access to their respective offices, despite the position of all the injunctions not to interfere or meddle in the councils and the express unequivocal order to restore them back to their offices, a judgment delivered by F.A. Igbonomba, which I earlier mentioned. We gave a judgment annulling the suspension illegally done by the House of Assembly, bringing back the elected chairman and the vice chairman to the different councils. We have also witnessed another very disturbing trend. The council chairmen are signatories to their accounts with their different councils. That's expected. What Gov Okpebholo and his cohorts are trying to do is to change the signatories to those accounts, making sure that the elected council chairmen that are supposed to be signatories to those accounts do not have signatories to their account. We want to warn the banks. If any bank obeys that illegal instruction, we will charge you for contempt of court. We will take you to court to make sure that if you illegally change the signatories to those accounts that are with you, we will charge you to court. Don't say we did not warn you. There are also reports of illegal requests of sensitive council documents by unauthorized persons mandated by the chief of staff and the chairman of the Edo State Service Commission, Local Government Service Commission, Demian Lawane. This flagrant disregard for our judiciary and the subversion of the constitution of our country is a serious threat to our democracy. And if this lawlessness is allowed to continue, it will not only undermine the rule of law, but will also create a dangerous precedent. That's why we are calling the attention of everyone today to weaken our entire legal and democratic system. What we are witnessing, and we say this with all sense of responsibility, is an attempt to unlawfully and illegally remove or overthrow an elected chair of government in Edo State, a component and federated unit of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, contrary to Section 1(2) of the Constitution and judicial orders. In other words, putting it very bluntly and straightforwardly, an attempted coup is being witnessed in Edo State under Governor-elect Monday Okpebholo. We condemn in the strongest terms that we can garner that these attempts at exterminating our constitutional democracy is on and going on in Edo State.
Dr. Anthony Azigbime Comeback, Presido Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Attorney General of the Federation, Judiciary and Security Agencies to act fast to restore law and order for Edo State, as dem warn say if this lawlessness continue, e fit lead to chaos, anarchy and scatter democracy for the state and the whole country.
We are deeply worried that if urgent and decisive action is not taken to address this lawlessness and restore order within the system, we may witness an escalation that could result in crisis, anarchy, chaos, and which presents a clear and imminent danger of a breakdown of law and order in Edo State. And we hereby call on the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the Attorney General of the Federation, our judiciary, the National Security Advisor, the Inspector General of Police, and all relevant security agencies. And with this opportunity to add our traditional rulers, our religious leaders, our opinion molders, to urgently intervene and call the governor-elect to order, so much so that we restore order and the rule of law in Edo State before events spiral out of control, which could lead to chaos.
Dr. Anthony Azegbeme come also here and say
most of them are this idiots. That's why we have to go and get a book to understand their psychology, to understand how you deal with idiots, because predominantly these guys are idiots. We have issued a directive to our elected council chairmen to resume work, to go back to their offices, relying on the judgment of the judge of Edo State that reinstated them to office and suspended the illegal suspension by the House of Assembly. So we have told them, we have directed them to go back to their workplace and resume duty, because they are the elected council chairmen of the various local governments in the state. And we are saying the security agencies to make sure that the elected council chairmen are given access to their offices.
make una no forget say as we see am na so we dey talk am, we no dey take blame. From Benin City, Ekata Ojesele, TMC TV News.